Good morning, everyone. Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room with you this morning, and we're going to stamp this card. But first, I'm going to shut my craft room door because I forgot. And the furnace just kicked in, and so I didn't want you to have to listen to that. So the next thing is I'm just going to pull it up on my computer to make sure that I'm oriented properly. And this is the card we're going to make today. It uses the Christmas Toile bundle and the heirloom frames, dies, and embossing folders. Okay, we're oriented properly and we're on the go. Okay, so here's the recipe for this card. It uses cherry cobbler card base, 8.5 by 5.5. Let's do it this way so you can look at the card while I'm reading it to you. So the cherry cobbler card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded in the middle. A 3.25 by 4.25 piece for this layer. Some copper foil, 3.25 by 4.25 for out here. And from that, before we put it on the card, we're going to cut out these two copper swirls. The Toile Tidings designer paper is 2.5 by 3.5. Some very vanilla pieces for the cardinal and the branch and the sentiment. And as I mentioned, we're going to use the heirlooms frames and embossing folders. So here's the dies, and they cut out a rectangle and an oval, and we're going to use the rectangle today. And it coordinates with the heirloom embossing folders, which is one of the new style thick ones. So we'll be using those two. We'll be using the stitched rectangle, and I call this A. So this is 1, 2, 3 and up, and this is ABC and up. So it's this long skinny one that usually sits in there like that. So we're going to use that. We're going to use, what's next on the list here? The Christmas Cardinal Dies. Okay, so here's the Toile Christmas stamp set, and here's the dies that coordinate with it. I've already got some of them out because we're going to use them. So you get 8 dies in this set that match the coordinates with the stamp set, where there's 8. And I love this stamp set because look at the sentiments in it, and then there's dies to cut them out. And may this season be filled with beautiful moments and happy memories for you and those you hold most dear. Yes, I like that. Did I get it out so we can use it? No, but let's do that. Or we'll use this one on the inside. I haven't really decided yet. Okay, so those are the dies we're going to use. And the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set is where I got the Blessed Christmas Wishes sentiment, and there's lots of them in here. And this is a set of 18 different Christmas stamps. And if you can't find something on here to use, then I don't know. There's so many things on here. Look, there's even a to and from to use on your labels. And if you're cooking, like baking and giving it to someone, look at that one. Okay, so we're going to use that. We're using the Blessed Christmas Wishes. And then on the inside, we're going to use the Christmas Countdown stamp set. And that's this one. And we're going to use this long, thin stamp there to decorate the inside. And then I'm going to put one of the sentiments in there. Either put that one or that one. And I may just go back and finish this one and do one in one and one in the other. And there's the envelope. So there's the card we're making. Now the branch is stamped with the new Celestial Copper Delicata ink pad. And I don't know whether you can see it or not. The beautiful shimmer to it. And the bird is colored in watercolor pencils, but I just colored. I didn't do any watercoloring with that. So it's a really easy coloring job. Okay, let's put that down here. Oh, hello, Carol. Welcome from Wisconsin. I appreciate you joining me today. If you would like to place a Canadian order, my online store, glendamollet.stampingup.net, and then click on Shop Now. Or you can email me. And if you're going to place an online order, there's the current host code. Okay, so we have the card base. We have a piece for the inside, and this piece I'm going to stamp the bird and the leaf on. Then this piece is the copper that goes on the card front, and we have to cut the swirls out of that first before I put it on there. And then this one is going to be cut and embossed for the frame. And this is the, okay, let me get the name of it. Toile Tidings designer paper. And I love this paper because it's exactly the same pattern on both sides, only one is in garden green and one is in real red. So I've used the garden green one here, so we'll see what the real red one looks like after I get the frame done, because it's a little bit different color to the cherry cobbler, so it might not work, but we'll see. And then I have a piece of Very Vanilla for the sentiment as well. Okay, so let's get this frame done, because I love these frames and dies. So we'll put the embossing folder to the side because we don't need it quite yet. This is my magnetic platform, and I'm just going to die cut the rectangle. Now, did you know when you're die cutting and you've got something with a straight edge, don't put it through straight like this, because your die cutting machine will hit the edge all at the same time and really do a crack and a crunk. Now that doesn't matter, it still works, but it's hard to get it up over that. So if you just did a little kitty wampus there, then it kind of hits and jumps over it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. We had the Countdown to Christmas Advent Calendar class yesterday. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. Okay, so these are the two pieces we don't need. So I'll save those for another project. And then there's the frame that we cut out. There we go. Now this is the piece that we have to emboss. So I'm just going to do a quick switcheroo on my big shot because we need to use a new style embossing folder. So for that I need, let's get these out of the way. For that I need the Big Shot platform and a shim, because my machine requires a shim, and then the embossing folder and the die cut piece. So we want to line this up. The way I do it is I hold the embossing folder open and move it around while looking at it through the front. And I make sure that it's equal all the way around on the inside of the inside rectangle, so that it's kind of, even all the way around. And the longer you take to set this up, the better it's going to be. So it needs to go over just a hair. I know I'm OCD, and this kind of stuff just drives me nuts. Okay, so there we go. No, we don't, because you can see it's not straight. So let's just give it a little bit of a kick over on the bottom and lift it a bit. There, much better. You see how I've got that lined up inside, and then it just naturally lines up the outside. So I'm going to run that through now with the new embossing plate, embossing plate it's called. And it's just a bit thicker than the clear ones, so it allows for the thinner dimension of the new 3D embossing folders. There we are. We're done with embossing, so I'm just going to flip my machine back to die cutting again so it's ready for the next step. Okay, so there's the embossing. We'll just sneak it out here. There we go. Now, you can do it either way. You can have it this way, or you can have it that way. So on this one, I used this side so that there was a depressed frame and then embossed here, and then that is a bit depressed as well. This side, this is embossed, this is depressed. Depressed. Either way, it works. So let's do this side this time, seeing as I used the other one. So we will put that aside because I need to cut out of my copper piece. I need to cut the swirls out now before I layer the swirls onto the card front, or the copper onto the card front. So I'm just taking these 2 swirl dies, sticking them somewhere in the middle, and it doesn't really matter where, as long as you leave enough room on the outside that you won't see the holes once you get the embossed frame on. There we are. Oh, we just pull the dies off. Now it's really important. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but right here, there, and in here, there is 4 little holes that get cut out of here. And see the paper still in there? So it's really important that you get that paper out before you do the next die cut, because it will jam completely and won't cut nice the next time you run it through. So I just prepared it for the next time. Okay, so now we're going to pop these out. And they're easy to pop out. Come on. Sometimes it's difficult to get the curlicues to coordinate. Okay, so card base. There we are. There's our card base. And this is going to go on here like this. And then this is going to layer on. Oh, look at that. Apparently I cut it wrong. Okay, I'm just going to get my copper paper here. And we'll cut another piece. Because apparently I cut that the wrong size and it's not going to layer underneath. So what does it say? It's about 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I do 4 1/4 by 3. Okay. Just throw that one to the side and get another piece. And use my paper trimmer over here to do 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Right, trimmer out of the way. Okay, let's try this again. There, that's better. Except that I'm just going to take my fingernail and fold over that where I cut it there. Apparently I need a new blade in my trimmer. Let's just cut off that ragged bit. All I'm doing is just kind of cutting sideways underneath. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, get out of the way. Okay, so there we are. There's the copper piece. And here's the frame we're going to put on top. Now, where's the designer paper? Let's decide if we're going to do the red one or the green one. Let's bend this a little bit so that it sits down flatter. And then we can have a look and see which one is better. Good morning, Val. Thank you. Okay, ladies, those of you that are watching, what would you like me to do, the red one or the green one for the background? While we're deciding that, I'm going to take these pieces and just put them here out of the way, and we're going to stamp. This is the copper Celestial Copper Delicata ink, and it's so pretty. So we're going to stamp the... Oh, Valerie says green. So we're going to stamp the branch in the copper. And it's the same kind of ink pad as all the other ones, nice and juicy. There we are. So we'll just stamp that on that. Make sure I get a good stamped image. There we are. Okay, look, can you see the shimmer in that? Oh, Carol says green too. Okay, green it is. Look at that. Oof, I love it. Okay, we'll stamp. Oh, got the wrong color. We're going to stamp the cardinal in cherry cobbler. And then color it with the cherry cobbler pencil crayons. Or watercolor pencils. Make sure I get good inkage. And a Stampy-on bird. There we are. Okay, I'm going to let that dry while I color the bird in. So I have cherry cobbler, early espresso, pumpkin pie, and daffodil delight watercolor pencils that I'm going to use. So for the bird itself, I'm going to go over the entire thing in cherry cobbler and then add a bit of early espresso in the dark areas, just so it is really dark. So you don't have to be too particular with this. Just give it a good coloring. These are a little bit trickier to use than just your regular pencil crayons because they're, of course, they're formulated to be used with water. So if you see, I've got a light area in his belly and at the edge of that wing, and then down this wing, and then at the end of the tail. So I'm going to just go around those areas for now, just to give it a bit of highlight. And once I get my first layer of watercolor pencils down, then I'll go back and add some more. And the good thing about doing it this way is, oops, I forgot about the middle of that one. You can erase it if you go over top of outside your lines, because apparently I'm not really that great of a colorer. Okay, we've got the first base coat on. Now I'm going to go back and push a little bit harder and just add some darker color. Now you can play with this as much as you want and get it as dark as you want, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it because you get the idea. So I want a little bit extra color right there, and then right underneath his chinny chin chin. Just like that. You're just building layers. Now I'm no artist, so I know that there's probably people out there cringing going, "Oh my God, what is she doing?" But I have fun. And some people find this cathartic. Some people find it soothing. Some people find it very frustrating to color. And so it's really good that with all the Stampin' Up! Coloring mediums, you don't have to be a heavy colorer. You can use the blends, blendy or not. You can just use one color. Now I'm just going over the parts I left uncolored to give them a bit of a coloring. I don't want it too dark, but they need to have color on them. And on his breast. There. And now take the early espresso and just darken this up a bit. And his mask under his chin. And wherever the stamp has the naturally dark colors, under the tail, under the back end. There we are. So that's all. You don't have to be too slow and careful about it unless you want to, but of course this is a video. So I'm putting a light coat of Daffodil Delight down. Now I'm just going back in with the pumpkin pie and giving it just a bit of pumpkin on there. And I think I'll go back in with the yellow and blend it all together. And I'm not going to do his eye. I'm going to leave its eye. There we are. So that's how. It didn't take too long to color that. Now I spent longer on this one, so it's darker, but it doesn't have to be darker. It can be whatever you want it to be. And because these are watercolor pencil crayons, you can go in with your Wink of Stella as well. So once I get these cut out, I've got a little bit of area there, so I think I'll just go in and show you what it looks like if you use the Wink of Stella as a water brush. Okay. It's not staying. I need a bit of washi tape. Just because I don't want his head to be cut funny. Okay, let's just put that right there so it stays put. Now we'll get out the branch one and get it set up as well. And remember, the longer you take to set this up, the better it's going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through the Big Shot now and get those die cut out. Crunk, crunk, crunk. There we are. Yes, to have fun, because that's what it's all about. Okay, I'm just popping my branch out of the die here. There we go. Oh, moved a bit. Oh well. We're not going to see that piece, that part anyways, because it's hidden underneath the bird. And there's the bird. Okay, so I'm just going to put those to the side, and I'm going to show you what I mean about the aqua pan. So we'll just get the bird again and just stamp. I'm not going to take the time to color this whole thing, but I want to show you what it looks like if you color it a little. I'll just color a bit of it, but if you color it and then use the Wink of Stella as an aqua pen. Okay, so let's just put a little bit of color in here, because it really is pretty. I just decided not to do it on this one. Okay, so there's his head. It's a lot of color on there. It's a little bit darker around his mask. There we are. Now get the Wink of Stella. Give it a good shake. Every time you use your Wink of Stella, give it a good shake so that it mixes up the paint in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take it and color it. Can you see what it's doing? It's blending it. That's what these watercolor pencils are supposed to do. They blend. And because Wink of Stella is water-based, you can use it instead of an aqua painter or a paintbrush. So I'm just pulling the color. And it will go on and pull color out of where you stamped as well. You see that? Okay, and then you clean your aqua painter off. All right, so there's the one that I've done with Wink of Stella. I hope you can see it. It's subtle but pretty. And here's the one that's not aqua painter or Wink of Stella. Yeah. Can you see the difference there? Yeah, it's really pretty. I really like that. But I don't want to take the time today to do the whole thing because it takes a while. And we'll be on here forever. Okay. So I asked and you answered. We're using the green side. So the first thing to do is put your copper piece down. And get it centered on your card front. Now this card is a GMO, which means it's a Glenda Mollet original. Sometimes things pop into my head and they work out. Sometimes they pop into my head, they don't work out. And sometimes they don't pop into my head at all. I'm not artistic, I'm crafty. And there's a huge difference. Yesterday at the Advent calendar class, I had a new customer, and she said to me, so how many days a week do you spend in your craft room? So I want this up a little bit because we want to be able to put the sentiment in there. I said, well, I can spend 7 days a week in my craft room, but being as I'm self-employed, oh, I lost the little tail on this one. I can spend as many or as little number of days in my craft room as I want. So that's why I like being self-employed. I used to be a bookkeeper, payroll person, and you don't take time off when you're doing payroll, as people want their money. This is much better. If I want a Grand Sunday, I take a Grand Sunday. Okay, so now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to put them on before I put the designer paper on. I'm just going to cut some little bits. Let's see how much I got. Now, in this one, if you're using this side as your outside, then put your dimensionals all along here to keep that popped up. But we're not using that. We're using this. So I'm going to try and keep my dimensionals on the side here so that the side is popped up. Just takes a little bit of time to get these on here. So after she asked me how many days I spend in my craft room, then she wanted to know how many hours a day I spend in my craft room. My reply was 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. But if I don't want to, I don't. I take time off. Especially when the grandchildren are here or coming here. There we go. So that's going to pop that up a bit. And it's going to be, it's not going to pop up around the center. So I think this is going to look real cool. Now, need to put the green in there. So I'm just going to, I don't want to glue it right to the frame. Look at that, I put it upside down. Okay, the first time I made this card, that's what I did. My skaters were upside down. It's never a good thing. So I'm going to put the tape, a little bit of tape on the back side. Oh, you said green, didn't you? Uh-oh. Okay, let's see if this is going to show. Yep. Okay, I guess I should have been listening when I was talking and said green. So this tape, if you work on it, it will roll itself back. And then I'll be able to attach that to the frame without it showing through. There we are. So this tape is a little bit forgiving, not much. But if you're having a bad day, which apparently I am, it lets you get away with some things. I'm just using my nails and pulling it back. So you guys are seeing me in real life. This is what happens in my craft room. It's not all perfect. Okay, let's see if that's... Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down. There we go. Now, let's put some adhesive on there to keep this attached. You don't need a lot because it's attached to the frame and the frame is going to have dimensionals on it. So I'm just going to take the backs off of my dimensionals and put them in the garbage, because otherwise my table looks like a cyclone hit it, which is never a good thing. So this card apparently is going to take a little bit longer to make than normal. Just about there. Yep. Okay. Get off my fingers. Okay. Make sure the snowman people are the right way up, and kind of want to center it. Okay, that'll do. There we are. Now I'm just gonna, I don't want that to be down flat. There we are. So now the next step is to put the branch on. So I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow here and here. Not on top of my card though. Okay, let me just see that again. Okay, so right here and down here. There we are. Just hold that in place for a second or two. The lid back on my Tombow. Now I'm going to put some adhesive on the belly of the bird, because he's only getting attached here and down here on his tail. But we have to put those swirls in first. And right there. It's going to sit kind of like that. Apparently I put this in different orientation, but that's okay. We'll just put him right there, just like that. So now I'm going to put a dimensional piece just on here, so that when I put it here, the tape will hold them there, and the tape will hold the tail, but this will still stick up. So I'm going to also put a little bit, that's too big, a little bit on his head as well. There we go. And maybe a dot or two of Tombow on the feet, just to hold the feet down. Now that can dry a little bit while we get the swirls on there. Put them somewhere I don't get my great paws in there. So this one's going to go here, and this one is going to go there. Now because they're going to be hidden underneath the cardinal, I'm just going to put a little bit of tape, I hope, if this works. There. That one on. of tape at the bottom. Now you can use Tombow for this. So glue dots would work too. Maybe that's what I should have done. That would have been the smart thing to use. But that's okay. Now I have to take it off my finger. Put this one right there. Now, how's the bird doing? Right. Get the dimensional backing off and take the adhesive backing off. Be careful not to touch his feet because there is Tombow on his feet. And we'll just place him right there. Make sure everything makes contact. Nice gentle little pat. Okay, so now we have the sentiment to do. And it says, Blessed Christmas Wishes. Oh, hi Carol, welcome back. Thanks. It's a really pretty card, and it looks really hard to make, but it's not. You just need the right tools. There we go. Now I just have to find what I did with my other die, because apparently it's gone missing. See what happens when I get creating and things just disappear. Come on, where are you? I know I had it out here. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Whew. One day I lost a die. Hubby was in here helping me look. For an hour we looked, so that's 2 hours, two man hours, person hours. And when we couldn't find it anywhere, we went through the garbage, we went through the recycle, I looked at everything on my craft table. And then I remembered that I had been using real red cardstock the last time I used it, and I had to put some washi tape on it because it wasn't sitting still. And I had just taken it off and put it down, upside down on my table, and then I put a piece of real red cardstock on top of it, and it stuck to it, and it disappeared. Yeah, it took me a while. Took me a while to find that one, but I did. Okay, another couple of pieces of dimensional to hold the sentiment up. This is going to go down here. So for this one, I lined it right up against the copper edge, but you can do it this way. You can center it if you want. You can go over here. It's whatever looks good to your eyes. I think I'll put it right there this time. Because there's no right and wrong. It's whatever symmetry looks good for you. Because after all, this is your creation. There we are. So there's the card front done. That didn't take that long. And look at the bling from that copper. Whew. Now we have the inside to do. Okay, so we need the cherry cobbler, ink, and this lovely long stamp. Now these ones are a little tricky to put on because if you try to do this, sometimes they get warped and you end up crooked like that. So with these long thin ones, put it on the table and then put your block on top of them, and then you'll get it nice and straight. Okie dokie. We're well inked up now. I'm just going to do... And what did I do on this one? Yeah, just one in the middle. And there we are. Now I think I'll get an envelope and do the envelope while I'm at it, because then it's done. In my classes, I don't include envelopes anymore, but I do have them for sale, so you're welcome to either bring your own and stamp your own envelope to match your card, or you can purchase a package of envelopes. Okay, so let's put some adhesive on the back of this. Bit of tear and tape. There we are. Burnish it on real well. So I'm really enjoying doing these videos on Thursday mornings. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Let me know what you think of my videos. Constructive criticism is always welcomed. If you don't like me blithering on about stuff, let me know. If you want it to be only about the cards, let me know. If I'm too fast or too slow, let me know. And we're just going to center that. Come on, up, 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 up. Thank you. There we are. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Oh, thanks, Val. I know sometimes I wonder if I'm just talking too much and you'd rather just have stamping done. And I also would like to know if you want me to continue to do all the die cutting and everything as we're doing live, as we're doing it, or if you would rather I had some of the die cutting already done. Okay, so there's the cards. There's the first one, and here's the second one. Don't forget, this is the Toile Christmas bundle. Oh, I didn't stamp the sentiment on the inside. We were going to do that, weren't we? Okay, I can do that. Let's get rid of this outside sentiment here. And we'll put, on one we'll put, may your days be merry and bright. Just kind of, I like to put mine more up towards the top than center it, because I have more to say underneath. Okay, so there's one. And on this one, we'll use the other sentiment that says, may this season be filled with beautiful moments and happy memories. Now this one's a little bit harder to put on there because I'm just looking for that scrap piece of paper that I had. What did I do with it? Oh, there's one. Because the label's on here crooked. So I just want to stamp that and see how straight it is. Yep, okay. Yeah, the new stamps from Stampin' Up, if you put the label on crooked, it's not very forgiving. So this one, you have to go with the straightness of the bottom of the stamp more than the straightness of the sticker. There we go. Okay, now we're done. Card number 1. Card number 2. There we are. So, Toile Christmas bundle consists of the Christmas Cardinal Dies and the Toile Christmas stamp set. Now, in the catalog, you can find it. Did you know in the catalog there's this bundle index at the front? So you just have to look for the name and then it gives you the page that it's on. So this is on page 7. So you can buy just the bundle, the stamp set, and the dies. In Canada are $70. You can buy the tidings all around, stamp set and dies, or you can buy the entire suite, 12 tidings suite, so you get both stamp sets and both die cuts. Some 12 tidings designer paper, which is the piece in the middle that we used. 12 tidings gift wrap, which you can wrap gifts or you can stick on cards. A couple of different ribbons, and the 12 tidings glitter enamel dots. Oh my goodness. Let me show you those as soon as I find them. in my little... How do you store your embellishments? I keep mine in the thick storage boxes. When we have a little catalog, like the holiday catalog or the occasions, I keep all of those embellishments in there. And then when the ones that are in the annual catalog, I keep in a different spot. So here's my pearls, and they're in there, and they're in the thin ones. And they stand up like this in a bookcase right at my fingertips. Okay, so back to these. These are the Toile Tidings glitter enamel dots. And they're garden green and real red, but can you see the glitter in them? Yeah. They're so nice. And you can color these and the glitter still shows through. So I've actually colored them cherry cobbler, and black works really well too. And the glitter still, the glimmery, sparkly still shows through. Not bad. Okay. Thanks, Val. I like talking. I like showing you how to set things up on the die cutting machine. Now, Stampin' Up! Doesn't currently sell a die cutting machine, but it's in the works. It's coming soon. I can't wait. And the new paper trimmer, yeah, demonstrators were allowed to pre-order it, so mine will arrive on Monday. I want to use it. Okay, so ladies, thank you very much for sharing your morning with me. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for choosing to watch my video. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.